All right. We are live. Respect the line. Finally back with my OG co-host, Matthew Taylor. What's up, buddy? We missed you.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Yeah,
How about you?
same thing. Same thing. I'm loving the representation of both the 2024 BU tour and also, Jordan on the cap. I think that's an ode to me, to your co-host, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
It's definitely not. I think I was telling you before we got on, I use this to shovel snow. So that's what I think about this shirt. So yeah,
it's a working man's shirt, and I'm a working man's
I don't
player.
wear my BSB shirts to sweat in, dude. You know what I mean? It's like my gear. So yeah.
Pretty soon, if you start adding more players to that BSB squad, everyone's going to have a BSB shirt. It's not going to be. It's just going to be commodity. It's not going to even.
No, listen. I'm done. I'm done handing out shirts, man. I'm done. People ain't getting them. People ask me. I'm like, nope. Not getting them.
I think you have to win something before you get a BSB shirt. You shouldn't just automatically get offered a jersey,
Yeah. It's true.
So Taylor, we had exciting weekend of bocce. We're going to do our court report. We're going to give our highlights and what had happened at both St. Louis and then of course in St. Anthony's in Struthers, Ohio. We're also going to do a preview. We're going to bring on Michael and do the Troy, who's doing the MLK triples tournament. So there's going to be some live streaming on our station, the Bocce Broadcast Network, where we film this. So excited for that to get some more content. And then you and I will both be at the Lorenzino's high stakes tournament. A lot of money out there, $800 per team. And we got just a loaded bracket, like most of our high stakes are. So we get to talk about that. And then we'll be talking about the new Game of the Week live segment that Bocce Broadcast, our flagship station, is going to be putting out there. And then we'll be taking your calls. So, please call in. We want to talk to you about any of these topics, or if you got something else. The question I want everyone to be thinking about, before they call in, what I want to know is who's going to make an impact in bocce in 2025? Who's the player to look out for that either has one or two or a couple wins, maybe hasn't got a big win yet, and is about to make their big stride? Who should Taylor and I be keeping our eyes out for and making sure we're watching in this world? So think about that. All right, let's start with our court report. Taylor and our buddy Danny Drago out in St. Louis. So we had the winners of St. Louis were excommunicado. And so these were, when we did a preview show for those that were tuned in, these were players that have played with the Salsiccia train. So Danny's team, they kind of split up and we're playing on different teams. And this is Cam Clifton, who often plays with Danny, a great player. Vince Weinbauer, Nicky Emo, who, of course, Taylor, he played out there in Detroit, a fantastic hitter, just a great overall bocce player, but a fantastic hitter. And Churko. So a nice win out there for those guys on their court. Nice. We just keep hearing that's the place to go visit, Taylor. So that might be our next one. We're going to have to get the caravan, the RV, after we go to Connecticut this year. We're going to get the RV and go out to St. Louis.
I honestly can't wait for Connecticut. I'm excited about that.
Connecticut's going to be fun. But we need to bring that RV. That we should be like Madden. You're like John Madden because you don't like to fly. You're going to be like John Madden. We're going to have the Madden bus. I'm like Herb Street. Herb Street. I'm Chrissy. Me and Michael, he's gonna have a suit on. He's gonna be taking me in the limo. We're gonna be taking on the plane. You're the guy. You're gonna be in the BU shirt. You're gonna have all your BSB shirts hanging in the RV. You're gonna have Johnny Vivo driving the bus. Jimmy Paisano chirping from the back. That's the way that you're going to get out to St. Louis, Taylor.
You're probably right about that.
Yeah. So second place there was Shelter Insurance. So great run by those people. Third place was the Punishers. And fourth place was Bocce Squadra. Great tournament out there in St. Louis. Those courts look fantastic. I watched about 500 videos of Big E and his team taking shots with everybody else and doing ole, ole, ole.
Nice.
They had a fun run. I think they went like 0-2 or 0-3 first in full play, and then like turned it on late and got some W's. And it's just an amazing experience for, Big E travels and plays all these tournaments. He's traveling out to, to PA. He's played in Coppell. He's played in Ohio. He loves to support the different clubs in California, Kansas City, St. Louis, everywhere. But what's also really cool is for those Dallas players that don't necessarily get to see a ton of competition out there, he got to play with Big E, got to go travel to a tournament and go show face. And it's anyone's game, man. Once you get on the court, anything could happen. And so a lot of fun that they went out there. We got a lot of good video. And congrats to Danny. And, of course, the Excommunicado team, Cam, Vince, Nick, Dino, proud of you guys for the big W.
Nice.
Let's move on to the tournament that you and I played in, Taylor, and that would be at St. Anthony's in Struthers, Ohio. So this is near Youngstown. For those that know Lorenzino's, which we often film at, and we'll be putting up some new cameras there in the near future. It's only about like 10, 15 minutes away from Lorenzino's. We have this little hotbed of bocce where there's like 4 or 5 clubs that are within like 15 minutes away. And St. Anthony's are indoor courts. They have 2, I'll call them upstairs because there's also the basement court, which is very, very unique. And you and I got to play each other in that tournament, Taylor. Second game, both of us were hoping to play each other in the winner's bracket, but we ended up playing in a loser's bracket and actually had a pretty phenomenal game. Your team took it at the end. I believe you won. If we 13-11, 13-12, so won by a couple points, scored 2 points at the end to beat us. But that was a pretty fun game down there in the basement.
Yeah, it was. You're slowly creeping up to Popio's record of how many losses he has against me and Stewie. Track record hasn't been good, and we seem to meet all the time. But yeah, it was a good game down the basement.
You know what, though, Matt, is if we're playing you a lot in the tournaments, that means that we're probably winning. This one, no, it wasn't the case. So right. If we're playing you a lot, you have a great team, and that means that we're winning. And, it's like I feel like in Major League One, shout out to Bob Uecker, one of the great sports broadcasters, also in the movie Major League, just passed away today, R.I.P. And I feel like Major League One, where we're like the Indians, and like you're the Yankees, and like one of these days we're gonna beat those fucking guys. So I consistently want to play you in every tournament. It totally brings to me, it tries to bring out the best in me, and I freaking hate losing. Kick the trash can. After that loss,
yeah.
But I love playing that. I love the competition, and it's always great battle. And you put out good balls for me to hit, and we get to stay in the groove.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest places to play at too. I think those courts are really difficult from a pointer's perspective. Very difficult, especially that basement. I mean, there's bends in the middle, on the side, against the wall. I mean, it's pretty tough. You think you throw a good line, it goes the other way. I mean, they're kind of annoying.
And it's not even like we'll get into the results of this tournament soon, but it's not even like you could just follow someone's line. So if you have a bad ball and I want to use a different line, I could end up in the same spot. Or if you have a great one and I want to, because the way that ball comes off of our hands is different. Unlike a synthetic court, right, where it's all about speed, a little bit of location. Of course, there's some bends, at Mulsanne, at Lorenzino's, I'm sure in St. Louis too. There's a little bit of like extra bends, nuances to the courts, but it's not the same as playing at St.
Right.
Anthony's. And, even those of us that play league there, the courts have changed over the last year or two. So The basement for me, I felt the most comfortable in playing because I feel like that's been the most similar to like the league over the last 5-10 years. But the upstairs court, I keep calling it really the main floor courts, man, they were just difficult. They were difficult as all hell. And it's just like it was forcing you to hit 2-foot balls because if you didn't, then you're just putting yourself in such a disadvantage. And it's not the easiest courts to hit on either. We saw a lot of great hitters struggle too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so getting on to the real star of this tournament, and that is the Trans Systems team. I call this a little bit of an upset, Taylor. I don't think this was on many people's bingo cards. What a great championship. They win in the second game. They lost. They were coming from the winner's bracket. They lost the first game, won the second game. Anthony Del Torrio. We got Jimmy Fisher. We got my man, Jake Tanner, with his first ever.
Congratulations, Jake.
And one of the best. This might be some people's responses later on. One of the best up and coming players, hitter, and what I was really proud of him for was he's typically gone and been that first hitter in every tournament. In this one, he went in 2. He knows the courts of St. Anthony's. His wife bartends there. He's always there hanging out there. He took the role of second hitter and was rolling phenomenal too. And that's Tony D'Onofrio. So congratulations, those guys, the Trans Systems team.
I love it. Good job, Fish. Us at IMBS really love Fish. We're happy for him for sure. And Jake Tanner, congrats on your first win. See, you guys, listen, anybody can win a tournament, man. It can be done. You got to keep playing. Jake's been playing a lot of tournaments this past year. He's won some games. He's been deep in some tournaments. He pulled one out. It was a pretty good tournament, man. 32 teams, right?
Yeah.
280 a ball. I mean, it's a tough field. Now, I didn't get to play Saturday. I still dealing with some family issues, which, I do want to point out. I hate to kind of get off topic, but I appreciate the support that some of you guys have reached out to me over the past couple of weeks. I'm still dealing with that right now. But we're fighting, and hopefully, my father can get better, but I appreciate the support. I was unable to play Saturday, so I think Triv and Frank and Stewie ended up getting Pinot. And I guess they didn't get it done. So congrats to these guys. Actually, I'm pretty sure that they had lost their second game Sunday to, big surprise, actually, Jackson and Sarah M., right?
Yeah, so, we'll come back to that Trans Systems team. I want to talk about them and getting involved now in the tournament champions as they're members of the tour. So very excited for them to be part of that. But that Sarah Wicker team with playing with Jackson and Bo Wetzel and Scott Alpier, man, they played just really phenomenal. That was our first loss. Sarah Wicker, I don't think that she rolled a ball outside of 18 inches. And everyone though was not an either or. It was the hardest first roller that I played on in such a long time. It was so difficult for me to catch a rhythm shooting where it's okay, she's at least rolling great. So I should be getting some easier shots, some either ors or some big targets. Nope. It was I'm 6 inches away from the pill and you can fit a ball in between. And it was just great ball after great ball. And that entire team, Scott played great our game. Bo got the game-winning shot, game-winning roll-in. Jackson hit very well, as always. Man, it's just anyone, anytime. But, it's not just anyone, though, Taylor. So it's for Jake and for this team here, that we just talked about, they put in the work. It's really it's not luck. It's not they're playing, once a month or playing a couple leagues. They all put in the work. These are the people that I see, late night at Lorenzino's or, early morning, before breakfast, as they're drinking coffee, just getting some extra rolls in, getting some extra balls in. It is anyone that can make it. It's, forever who says, it's always the same 3-5 teams. I would say go look at bocce 15, 20 years ago, especially in our area, the Ohio PA area, there was Vandra, JJ's, and a few others. That's it. But now I think what we're seeing is this resurgence of parity, and a lot has to do with so many players taking upon themselves to say, if I put in the work, I have a chance to be able to go get it done. And it's the way a sport should be.
Yeah, I agree.
Second
We've said
place
it before here, many times, sorry to cut you off, Kim, we've talked about it numerous times. You even look at Wycliffe this last year, 15 teams could have won it. I'd say 50 other teams could beat any one of those teams. When before it wasn't even, think about it, 50, 60 teams outside of the top 15 teams could beat any team on any given game. It's nuts. It's nuts. And it shows you see the same people playing all the time. Even Friday, I hadn't been playing much. Obviously, I've kind of been out of it. I didn't roll that well. I didn't roll that well at all. I rolled enough in some spots where people, couldn't score. We capitalized on some things, but I was not myself at all. And it shows when you don't practice, you don't play a lot, you're dust. You're just toast. So it's hard nowadays. It makes me want to go back and continue to practice some more. I'm going to have to, especially with the high stakes coming up this weekend. So,
well, it's a lot of that skill, but what we're also starting to see is we're starting to see more of people getting familiar playing with each other because they are playing leagues and cash games and whatnot. So they're getting some opportunities to play with some people and then go run a tournament with them. And I'm seeing the play calling get a hell of a lot better just overall. And that has to do with, what BBN, Lee Chrisman, yourself, myself, and others that test and everyone else that's doing live streaming, Dylan, Bill Barnett out there in New York and everyone that's doing all these streaming. You're now not only just watching the game from, an outsider's perspective, you can go back and see what mistakes you made, what calls you should have made, and what the great teams are calling. So I'm just seeing the game calling go way up. Of course, that team. And then, what that practice really does is, it helps you make you feel comfortable when you have pressure shots at the end. Because you need pressure, you need that camaraderie, and you need the game calling to go with the skill. And it's just an up level all around the country, which is really exciting to see for those of us that want to watch bocce grow.
Yeah, and to add on that too, that's a good point about the game calling because it is huge. But some of these people that are starting to play the better teams or get a little bit deeper in tournaments, when you're playing against these good teams and you're seeing how they're calling a game, you unconsciously probably start thinking when you're playing these other games, man, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that because these guys did it this way. So the more they play against good competition, that's going to happen.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I'm not shocked by it at all.
So we're going to finish out just the other top three. We got Lauren Zeno, second place. Impressive run for them, because they could just play on. I just think they play everywhere. These guys are just great players. Dante Chiavetti, Matt Estes, Gianni, and Bobby Gentile. Before they won that first game of the championship, lost the second one, so they were right there at the end. They had a great win, a comeback win against my brother's team, who got third place. Who they've been playing now a couple tournaments together. And they keep finding their way into the top 5, top 10, and that's Angelo Catullo, Dylan Paulsley, Jay Smith, and Ray Brook. So another great run from Cardiac Kids. I always love watching my brother play well, so I probably get more excited watching him play than I even do myself. He hasn't played yet. I want him to get one too, and we're playing together at the high stakes this weekend. So hopefully we could try to get one together.
Love it.
All right. So, Michael, I know you're in the background. Would love to bring you on to talk a little bit more about the Troy tournament coming up in New York. Going to be a triples tournament for MLK weekend, and excited to have some high pressure bocce out there.
Yeah, we got a lot of good teams. Bit of a so just figuring out my volume here. Kind of like Empire Cup preseason preview tournament here. Let me pull up the rosters. We got 17 teams right now. Hopefully, all 17 of them will show up on Saturday. You can see a lot of recognizable names here, including a lot of Empire Cup players. I didn't go through and count, but I would imagine most of these teams are comprised of Empire Cup players. This is our third year, I think, of doing this MLK tournament, and we're trying something new this year, something that I've never seen anywhere else. We're doing triples, no walk. You ever heard of that?
No.
Triple, no.
Yeah, can you even imagine how that works? No.
Or you throw the balls back?
Two on one side, one on the other. So it's a doubles match on one side and a singles on the other side.
That's pretty sweet, actually. I like that.
What do you think about that?
Man, if we did that out here, that's cool. I really like that. Are you gonna live stream that?
Yeah, so we will be broadcasting. I realized a couple of minutes ago as I was listening to you guys, I didn't pull the broadcast schedule up here, but we'll be live Saturday and Sunday. I think we're scheduled to start at 2 o'clock on Saturday, the 18th, this Saturday, but we very well may start before that.
So do we have designated singles players, or are you doing it like differently each game? How does that work?
So these are the coin flip rules. And we tried to figure out the way, you don't want the coin flip to decide the game, right? You don't want it to be a huge advantage. So we tried to figure out the most even way to do the coin flip. And what we settled on is that the choice, if you win the flip, you have the choice of forcing the other team to declare their singles player first, or you can decide which end. You can decide which end is which, like which end the doubles, who stands at which end. You can decide which end starts with Paulino, and you can decide which team starts with Paulino. So that's another debate. Is it an advantage to start with Paulino, or is it an advantage for the other team to start with Paulino? And does it depend who you're playing?
I can't wait till we get enough stats so we can figure out that this is an advantage to have Paulino.
Listen, I'm already in my head cooking up Matt Taylor's first annual triples no walk tournament. Oh, it's happening. It's 100% going to happen.
You know what? Yeah. Someone had mentioned, and I just can't remember the name, but there's someone who mentioned to me, I think it was Tony D'Onofrio, was like one on each side, just singles but partners, where like you're playing singles on one side and singles on the other one. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun, where you're helping your partner call the game, and it gives you some break from like having to walk and play singles on a side, but it also gives you all four balls in your hand. But this is unique. This is unique. I'm going to assume, Taylor, that Stewie would be the one with singles and you and Cap on the other side, because Stewie's the best singles player on your team.
No, not a chance. So I don't know, but I think it would have to be random. I think I would find a way to make it random, and I like the idea of the other team picks the one-man person. That I like. So whoever wins the coin toss can either pick somebody, or they either pick their person, or they make the other team pick their person first, right?
Right. Yeah, you don't pick who on the other team is playing singles, but you can make the other team declare their player first. So then you can
declare their player first. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I would. I'll have to think about that for sure. But I think each team, I would make them flip a coin to see who would probably be picked. also, or maybe you could do it either way. But yeah, there's so many options with it. It's a great idea. Whoever came up with that, your idea? Because that's an awesome idea. I love it.
I think it was my dad's idea.
That's pretty sweet. We might be doing that in February, Danny.
I love it. You know, Michael, when you're done next week, you know, love for it when you do the results. Just giving us some feedback, giving the public some feedback on how it went. You know, what you liked, what you didn't like. I think that would be cool for everyone to hear. I'm just like looking through the rosters before we go over to Lorenzino's high stakes. You got some great players playing, man. Got like the Dirtbox Cowboys with Paul, Billy Barnett, Mike Augusto. I saw Pete Russo's playing with Marco and Tony Porcello, right? The DeLucas from out there in Holly Bocce. Tokalana with Jerry Sid. I mean, like, there's just like Nick Sarah's playing. We got a lot of great players playing. And for those of us, you know, that maybe don't travel to every tournament, but, you know, watch the big ones. A lot of these players do well in the big tournaments that they're going to be out there. How many courts do you have out there in Troy?
We got 4 60-foot hard true courts. Yeah, we don't have a ton of players out here, but we got a lot of really high, you know, top level talent for sure. Sid and Jerry, they're the ones that just won in October. They won the doubles in Troy. You got some local veterans. Tony Roselli, Mario Talone, Tony Maiello. We just picked up Tony Maiello today. He's 89 years old. Still out there on the tournament circuit, winning tournaments. Won a tournament with him either last year or the year before.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's move on to Lorenzino's high stakes. Taylor, where you and I are going to be, you're going to be there. And
I should be. Yes, I should be.
Yep.
God willing.
And this tournament's pretty loaded out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not much of a bracket guy or bracket looker. That's Stewie's job. But, you know, I saw it, and I'm just like, I mean, it's going to be so much fun if you last, but you can be 0-2 in the blink of an eye. I mean, the talent level is just ridiculous.
I mean, just going through the team names, like this random 4 team, like, well, if I'll go just alphabetical, the ABV, obviously we know who they are. Rocco stepping in and playing for Dennis to help them out as Dennis can't play, but you know, it's such a great team, and you're just adding another great shooter at Lorenzino's. Adelio's with Sergio Distillo, Jason Malaragno, Mark Orlando Jr., the BSB team, of course, UCAP, Triv, Stewie, Club Molisani 7, James Salvaggio, Bruno, Claudio, and Keith, all great synthetic players. And there, CPF with Nardone, who obviously knows this courts really well, with Federico, Ronnie Cap, and Tony Mel Sr., Erie Canal, Jack Durkin, who the judge might be the best pointer at Lorenzino's, like just might be the best. You know, since the pointer, I'm saying first pointer. Why do you know any of the first pointers that are good there?
Continue, Danny. Continue.
Judge Jack Durkin, Bobby Middle, Freddie Slablack, Mikey Lapp, IMBF.
I love you, Jack. Sorry, Jack. I love you. If I ever get pulled over, I know you'll take care of my speeding ticket. You just said he's the best pointer at Lorenzino's.
I said Mike.
You know what's funny? It might be. You're trying to say it. I remember we were playing pickups, cash games the night before the last tournament there. How long ago was that?
Yeah, a couple weeks
ago.
ago.
There were like 5 people. Jack was rolling great. Yeah, he was rolling great. And I heard 5 people have to tell me how great Jack is, I'm like, when did this happen? I'm lost. I'm confused. When did this happen?
While you were sleeping, the judge laid down the gavel and put in the work.
Well, you know what? I'm about to lay down the gavel and challenge him to one-on-one pointing only. Just to, you know, I love you, Jack. I'm kidding. I'll buy you a beer this weekend.
Yeah. That could be a little side game that you guys have at the Ryder Cup. You and Jack.
Well, you know what's funny? Yeah, I was thinking that triples they're doing, I might add that into the Ryder Cup.
I love it.
I think I'm going to. It sounds awesome, and it would get the juices going. That would be sweet. Yeah. So thanks, Galdo, for that one. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
All
Sorry.
right, so IMBS, Shawnee New, Jimmy Paisano, MHP, and Vern. That's who you're playing, game one. So IMBS, who's the defending champions
Yep.
of the Lawrence
They beat us,
High Stakes.
they beat us 14-1 last year.
Replace Lou with Vern, right? Because they had Lou last year. Okay.
Yes.
They beat you up pretty good after you guys beat Jose's team, the Black Bulls from last year. We got two Lorenzino's teams. The first one, the OGs, is Dante Chiavetti, Bobby Middle, and Matt Estes. Gianni's not playing, so their fifth member who always plays with them is Mike Robertson. They're a fantastic team there. As long as Dante Chiavetti's not running around cooking calzones for everybody. And
that team has no chance. The team has no chance to win.
Then we got Lorenzino's number two. That's got myself, my brother Angelo, Bubba, Nikki Cap. I mean, Maul Sani with Val Ferbata, Anthony Ferbata, Sal Santillo, Val DeFranco, MVR with Bobby Ferraro, Paul Saline, AJ D'Annunzio, and Vivo, Nueve Amiche, Rocco, Delicio, Cugini, Chris Chmielewski, Mike Hilvers, plus EV, that's Peasant, Jason Wisniewski, Botto, Nico Fox, Pope Saints, Ben Diaz, Timmy Wilson, Tony D'Onofrio. They are going to play great there. Random four with Ron Dog, Doug Carter, Russ, and Tony Mel Jr. And last but not least is watertight Joe Palumbo, Batters, Lunacero, and Pino. I mean, there are some just great players playing in this tournament and some great teams that play with each other. Taylor, who's going to come out on top, man? $200 a person, $800 a team.
Man, shoot, I don't know. That Val and Sal team, I mean, listen, this game's about rolling. That's what them dudes do. They roll. I would not be shocked if they made a run.
So we play against them game one, and at the Fall Classic of Molsani, I'm going to say that we were up 10-2, 11-2.
I remember the game. I was there. I remember the game. Yep.
It just wasn't enough, man. Those guys just kept rolling and rolling and rolling.
They don't stop rolling. That's what they do. They just roll the ball nonstop. Yep. And if they
the Pauline goes to the back, and Sal just puts one right on top of it. Yeah, it's like, let's see you hit it now, buddy.
I know.
It's just,
to be honest with you, I can't even pick. It's Adelio's. That my first impression when you mentioned them, I'm like, damn, they added Frank. That's tough. They got Marco, Frank, Jason, and Sergio. They added a really, really good shooter in Frank. I mean, with him and Marco having balls, dangerous. That team will depend on how well Sergio and Jason roll. Jason and Sergio, I feel like they're obviously great players. They're very streaky, can be very streaky too. If they get hot, that team will probably be one of the favorites. If they're struggling to roll, then they won't. But it's going to come down to those two guys rolling. Croge, you can be mad at me all he wants to, but adding Rocco Guerreri, they ain't going to win. Dennis is a big piece of that team, so I'm not going to say they're a favorite. Watch them win it now. I'm rubbing it in my face.
They've won a high stakes with Rocco before.
They have, because they beat us. They beat me. Yeah, they beat me. Thanks for reminding me. Croce won a brand new Lexus last year in all the high stakes tournaments he's won. I think it's too easy to say Jose, but listen, DSB owns Jose at Lorenzino's and that collection of talent. So, I don't know. I can't really pick them. I don't know. I'm gonna say Adelio's. I like Adelio's.
So I got a couple things. So when this got moved to a one-day tournament, you're now going to be off of the court for long stretches. So that changes the whole tournament dynamic. Then when you play brackets, You can end up having an easier draw in a bracket, end up making Sunday. You got your feet wet and then come play. I think what remains to be seen for the out-of-town teams is that who could pick up the rolling and the speed the fastest in all, especially 1 and 3. All 3 courts are different, but 1 and 3 are so different in speed that even if they got into 1, they're going to go to 3 and they're going to be like, oh my God, it's different. And the walls are different than Molisani. So for those that are coming from, from Cleveland or those that are coming from Palazzo, the walls are different. So like for the rollers, which, this game is about rolling, whichever of those out-of-town teams that their rollers can get the courts the fastest, I think they're going to have the best shot to be able to, to be there at the end. And I think for the local teams, there's an inherent advantage for those that play there all the time. It's like where it drifts a little left, where it drifts a little right, where to play it on the wall, the speed to hit off of. And it will help for game 1, game maybe 2 if you get moved onto a different court, game 1 or 2. But that starts to go away as you start playing for the tournament. So you're going to have to use that to your advantage if you're a local team, not use it to your disadvantage if you're, an out-of-town team. And so, again, we're playing against this Vows team, which I know firsthand how great, the Vows can roll. And, of course, Anthony Ferbato, great hitter, and Sal, great back ball player, put him in eighth. We're going to have to use advantages on the court that we know right away, because the longer that game goes on, the more those guys are going to get it. And we have to we have to be able to.
Well, yeah, you made a good point that it's a one-day tournament, right? So now that I'm thinking about it, 90% of the players, excluding myself and Jose, will be drinking. Actually, I'll probably drink. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to get hammered. Jose will be eating bananas, so it'll be 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Jose will be eating bananas. Jimmy P will be offering shots to everybody. Everyone's going to be drunk, and Jose will be in the corner eating bananas, ready to go. I mean, it's just what it is.
Nico will be on Sprites.
Oh, sorry. And Nico's playing, he's a 16-year-old kid. He's got all the energy in the world. Yeah, I mean, the later the tournament goes, those guys are the favorite.
Eugenie will be lifting weights off from the side.
Jason will be shining his shoes. He probably brought 4 pairs of shoes, 1 for each game he plays. He's listen, he's a sharp guy, good looking dude, real nice. He's listen, they're probably the favorites now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. How are they not? How are they not? I mean, the name of Pat's team is Plus EV. For those of people that don't know what that means, when we had him on the podcast, but he's basically saying their team is Plus EV to win this tournament. Expected variance. That's just kind of a little cocky. I kind of like it now that I'm talking about it. All right, Pat, that was a bit of a flex. I like it.
Excited to be out there for Lorenzino's for this tournament. You and I will be doing some streaming. We're starting to get the camera set up for best of the best, but it should be a great time. All right, Michael. If you can jump back on, I want to talk about the new game of the week live segment they're going to be doing. And while Michael's jumping on, if anybody, if you could throw up that phone number too, maybe now, Michael, so people start thinking about what they want to call in about. Want to get your thoughts on this high stakes tournament and Lorenzino's triples tournament out there in Troy, and then like I was saying, who are these players to watch in 2025? Who's going to make their big run into the mix, right? Get themselves a couple W's and be the one that's going to be on Taylor's new top 10 for 2025 list.
Yep.
I'll throw up. Excuse me. I'll throw up the number in a second because it's a whole thing. But
gotcha.
This will be just very short. Just a little announcement here. So get ready. The number is 234-205-1020. It's 234-205-1020. So we'll be ready for your calls in just a minute here. But what we're going to start doing, I kind of announced this a while ago, but as with most things here, it's a little more complicated than it seems like it should be. So we finally, I think we got it figured out how logistically how we're going to be able to do this. But we're going to start doing The idea is to do it once a month. We're going to try and do that. It's going to be a Game of the Week live. So as a lot of you know, we do a Game of the Week every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. It premieres. It's a curated game from the past that we've broadcasted, one of the better games that we've broadcasted. And we just rebroadcast it on its own. There's a few reasons we do that. A lot of it is to get some of our regular viewers may have missed it, but a lot of it is just to get people who wouldn't click on like an 8-hour, 10-hour broadcast. Maybe they'll, newer people to the sport, maybe they'll click on a 30 to 50-minute video, and check that out. So, anyways, the next evolution of that is a live Game of the Week where we're going to have a player on who played in the game. Our first one's going to be Pat Pezzin. My space heater's turning on. Our first one's going to be Pat Pezzin. It's going to be Monday. I don't know what time it's going to be yet. But that will be available for our Patreon members. There's a Patreon link there. That'll be live for our Patreon members, so you can watch live. You can ask Pat questions. Or whoever, in subsequent months, whoever the player is, ask them questions and stuff. And then at a later date, we'll record it, of course, and then we'll upload it to YouTube for everybody else to watch. So just a way to have these players on and, have them talk through their own game and what was going on in their head and whatever, So that's it. That's that. We can move on to call-ins now. I'll put the number up here.
Love it.
But yeah, that'll be Monday for our Patreon members. If you are a Patreon member, I'll send out an email and I'll post it on Patreon too. So hopefully nobody misses that announcement. But yeah.
Yeah, Taylor and I were talking offline, Michael. We love that thought of just like someone going through their progression in their head and on why they did something there in that moment too. So it'd be interesting with the player, with the team, with the doubles team, even to kind of give their perspective on why did they hit here, why did they roll, what were they thinking about during the time? Because some of those decisions, especially in the early mid part of the game, can end up really dictating the flow of the game, and you have to kind of shake them off and go to the next ball. But when you're rewatching the game, you're like, oh shit, we never should have got that aggressive in that moment, or we should have took a shot here, because if we would have got 2-3, we could have really just turned it over to our side.
Yeah, sometimes even going back and watching my own games, sometimes the commentator, I'm sure I do it all the time to other players. Sometimes the commentator will they'll say something or they won't understand exactly what you're trying to do or what the idea was. So yeah, I think we'll get some interesting little insights into the way that people think when they play.
Yeah, I have no problem calling anybody out, and if I think it's be different, and then they'll do something else, and they'll execute and be like, my line I like to use is it, and that's why I'm sitting on the sidelines filming.
Yeah.
Matt, early line coming in live on the chat. I don't know if you saw this, but BSB against IMBS. BSB -2.5. But this person says IMBS pulls it out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It doesn't even matter who it is. Everyone's a hater. So. Nobody roots for us to win.
No, it's Jimmy Omar.
How do you set the line? How do you set the line with BSB as a favorite, but then say IMBS is going to win?
Think he's looking for some money, some action on BSB.
He assumes that would be what the line would be. That we're favored. So if we played 10 times, we'd win the game. How many times is what he's probably saying, but he's predicting an upset. I guess if you want to even call it an upset, it's not an upset. I mean, they're good players. They're great players. We're all, we're not the favorites, believe me. Cap just came back from a 7-day bender in Vegas. Stewie's got a cough, and Lord knows what else is wrong with him. I haven't played once in the last however many weeks, basically since NEO, and Triv, well, I don't know. He'll probably be fine. The rest of us, we're all a mess. So, I don't know, dude. We're gonna see. I'm gonna try to go practice tomorrow, and we'll see how my first ball is.
And listen, wait. You said everyone's a hater. I completely disagree. There's a BSB, actually a Stewie super fan out there. My buddy Joey Rogan's always representing the BSB fan shirt for Stewie. He's always rooting for him. So I don't want to say.
Okay, so there's some fans, right? Well, listen, let me rephrase this. Jimmy is one of, if not my best friend. Okay, he absolutely is the biggest hater. Hates that I win. Tells me how good he is, how much better he is than me. I mean, that's what he just hates on me, and that's coming from a best friend. So it bleeds into like other people that he talks to. And listen, nobody likes a winner. I get it, but I find it funny that nobody ever hates on ABV. They've won more than anybody, but they're also very classy. So they don't really.
There's no ABV podcast. You don't hear Croach and Dennis talking shit about there's a top 10 and here's good. And here's who stinks. Mikey Forbata.
If you talk to me in person, I don't think you can find one person in Bocce that's like, man, that Matt Taylor, he's an asshole. I don't think you can find one person.
I don't know. We have a phone number, so if somebody thinks.
Listen, somebody call in. If they think I'm an asshole, please call, own it, tell me. I'll accept it. We can talk about it. We can hash it out online. It'll be fine.
So, Matt, I do hear this comment about you often, and interested to hear your thoughts on this. There are people that are notorious for lying and saying that they're in. Okay. So we know them. It's kind of like the unwritten rule in Bocce. You're like supposed to say who's in so that not everybody has to stop the game and come over. But the very old way of playing Bocce was that it was a strategic advantage if you can kind of bully the other team into saying that you're in. And so there's some that still do it, some that are older, some that are younger. We know who they are, and I'm not here to call them out. But you're notorious for just saying nothing. Just absolutely not even, you won't nod, you won't look nod.
Danny, you're
stoic, and you won't do anything.
We got a call, Danny.
Oh, nice.
We'll get back to that call in a minute. We'll have an answer for that.
Call from
Pete Russo.
I thought it was Pete. Oh, Pete, call back. I waited too long to answer. Pete,
Sorry,
give us a call back, please.
Yeah, Pete, call back, please. Yeah, he was one of the guys that had a comment about me on it was a while ago. I can't remember what it was. I wish I remembered.
He didn't like one of your rankings, I think.
Oh, that's right. It was the rankings thing. Yeah, that's right. He was saying. Yeah, he said, "What makes you the judge of ranking people?" Yeah, I remember. No, I like that. That's cool.
So as Pete's calling back, Taylor, what do you say to those that say maybe that's not the nicest move by you can't even tell someone else they're in when it's obvious and you make everyone go walk
because
down
it's not obvious to me. So I'm just gonna sit there as if. All right, go ahead.
call from
Pete Russo.
Pete, you're on the line. How you doing? Can you hear us? Pietro.
Hey, Pete.
Hello.
Pete, you hear us?
How you doing, buddy?
Hello?
Hello, Pete. Were you in your car?
I'm on?
Yeah, you're on the...
Yeah.
How you doing,
You're
Pete?
on Respect the Line. What's going on, Pete?
What's up, guys? I just wanted to the best for your dad.
Say it again?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. So I know all about that stuff, so I feel your pain, and so I wish you the best.
Yeah, I feel like the older we all get, the more that's going to happen.
Good luck to you guys this week at Lorenzino's.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you in Troy. Who are you playing with out there, Pete?
Marco and Tony. Marco Signorelli and Tony Purcello.
Nice.
That's a good team, huh? It's a
You
good
looking to
team.
play? You looking to play on the singles side or the doubles or both? What do you like to do the most?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably either Marco or myself will play singles. Might switch it up every other game or see what's working better.
I would think would be an interesting strategy to it, Pete, would be like not burning yourself out, because when you play in singles tournaments, it's so much energy to throw all 4 balls, both physically and mentally. So I would assume you probably would want to give someone a break. They can't just play every singles match, or you may run into like a little bit of fatigue, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I suggested we take turns doing it because it's 2 days. We play 4 games on Saturday, and then depending on how we do, we play Sunday also, double elimination. So there's a lot of games to be played.
Pete,
Who out
what
of
do you
that
think
whole
about
tournament are you looking forward to playing singles against? If you got to pick someone.
Oh, I love singles. Singles and doubles are my 2 favorite.
Who out of that tournament of the
Just,
opponents would
I've
you
been,
like to play
I've been
singles
under the
against?
weather the
Anybody?
last year and a half, 2 years, so I haven't played singles in a long time. So just getting back into it really this year. Late last year, early this year.
Nice. Anybody out there that you think's a great singles player from one of your opponent's teams?
Repeat that again, Dan?
Yeah, is there anybody that you're looking forward to playing against in singles from somebody else's teams that like great competition?
Oh yeah, I always want to play the other team's best player if I'm playing singles. So
Nice. Michael, you got a question?
I was going to ask about the coin flip. Do you think so? With the rules being, you either make the other team declare first, or you get to decide. You get to choose 3 things, right? You get to choose who stands on which end. If doubles or singles starts with Paulino, and which team starts with Paulino.
if we win the toss, I'll select the sides and take Paulino.
You're not making the other team pick first? You don't care who they pick?
No, I don't care who they pick.
Yeah, I think against weaker teams, that's probably... Is that a sign of disrespect if the other team says, I don't care who you pick?
I don't know. I just feel confident, whoever plays singles for us, that, they'll do well, and feel confident on the double side also. So just a confidence thing.
Unless you're playing against us, right?
Yeah. I might change my mind then. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's something different, and I just, I can't wait to play. Taylor, are you gonna have one of those triples?
I'm gonna listen. I love the idea. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna watch it for sure, so I can see you play. Because
I do like that idea.
I've never seen you play.
I do like that idea.
I had the pleasure of playing against Marco for the first time ever. I think what was in December. What a great player, man. So
yeah,
like to see some more of you guys out there.
Yeah, Marco's really good. He's one of the top shooters out there,
Very good player,
in my opinion.
Yep.
And he can point.
He definitely
point. That's the thing with Marco.
Yep.
He can point too. So.
Yep. No, I'm looking forward to watching it. Good luck out there.
Thanks for calling in, Pete.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Pete, I got a question, Pete.
Sure, Mike.
You think anybody's going to beat Nico and Jose and Pat, Jason, at Lorenzino's?
Yes. Yes.
Who?
Adelio can beat them. BSV can beat them. And was it Molisani? With Dal and Sal? Is that Molisani?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think those three teams can definitely beat them. And who knows? I mean, it's one game. Things can happen in one game. You never know.
Nico's in the chat. He says that was a fluke.
Yeah, I was talking about.
Nico's great.
They went. Jose and Nico went 0-2 at Jerry's. And I said, "What place do you think Plus EV will finish?" Well, Jose and Nico are grouped from their 0-2, and he said that's the fluke. He's ready. Finally, a little adversity in the young man's bocce life, Taylor. Welcome to adulthood.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome. Not easy out here.
Yeah, you're not just talking about midterms, Nico Fox. Now you have to talk about losing in a tournament.
Everybody there that plays Jose and that team will want to beat them. So everyone's going to give them their best shot.
Yeah. You know what I think? Is probably underestimated too is the fact that I think that Jose also knows coming down here. It's not like he's coming down here to play one-on-one. He's coming down here with a team, and he knows the other teams are playing are really good.
He's got one ball. Obviously, if he has 2 or 4 balls, he's even tougher. But
right.
I don't know who's going to shoot first. Who usually shoots first? Nico or Jose?
I mean, that's a good question, Pete. I personally, for me, it's so hard to not want to have Jose's ball second, like him shoot second and have the last ball because he's the best roller on the court. He's also the best shooter. So, ideally, you want him to have the last ball every time, right?
I would think Nico's going to shoot first.
I would have Nico shoot first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have to be Nico.
Only to keep Jose back, But.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, one of those teams that, like you said, it's it almost they're just always going to get everyone's best shot because of one player on their team. Just because of one player, they're just going to get everyone's going to be locked in to try to give them their best shot. There's not going to be anyone that takes them lightly.
Well, no, but I think there's a chink in the armor though. It was proven this last year. They were beat by a lot of teams last year. Not a lot of teams, but we beat them in 2 different venues twice. Detroit's another thing though. They beat us up pretty good in Detroit. Jose and Hunter are phenomenal there. But listen, people know they can be beat, so they're not going in thinking, "Oh, this is an automatic loss." They're going to give them their best shot.
Oh, definitely. But I think for really what I'm talking about, Taylor, is everybody wants to have on their resume that they beat Jose. This is not beating Jose. You're beating Plus EV, by the way. You're beating all 4 of them with 3 teammates, by the way. But everybody wants to have it. Everybody wants to say, at the bar, drinking their Mick Ultra. Popio wants to tell everybody that I beat Jose at Lorenzino's with Timmy Wilson. And, he wants to tell everybody that. That's
well, Popio will never beat him, and no shot. So, my feelings on Popio. So
yeah, he plays good there.
Now, Jose could play with 3 seashells, and he'd beat Popio and a team of guys. Just because it's Popio, it don't matter. Pete, thank you.
Thanks for calling in, Pete.
Yeah, if you're asking me something, I can't hear. I can't understand. It's everyone. It sounds like a robot.
We were just saying thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Good luck. Good luck this weekend. And Matt, good luck to your father.
Thank you too. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. All right, bye.
Yeah, I gotta reset my.
All right, everybody, we got time for one more call.
Danny, I want to get back to your question earlier. If a player is running for a first down in football, okay, and they know that they didn't get the first down, but the referee saying first down before the measurements can get in and all that stuff, what are you doing? The team's rushing up to the line, and they're going to try to snap it before the timeout gets put in. Okay, it is not my job.
Don't yell at
Hold on,
me.
you're not allowed to cut
Don't
me
yell
off.
at me.
You're not allowed to cut me off. This isn't golf. Okay, golf's the only sport where if you make a mistake and you're supposed to call a penalty on yourself. There's no refs in bocce. Okay, if you want to know if you're in, because I don't know for sure. If I think it's even close, you're going to have to walk your ass down and look yourself. Okay, that's part of how I play the game. Listen, if you call for a measurement, I'd gladly help you. It's free. You're allowed. But don't expect me to just be like, oh, I'm just going to grab the tape for you. No shot. Which I find funny because you know that, okay? And that game we played at St. Anthony's, you love the tape now. You're the new Bubba, okay? You'll tape everything. Even if it's to your disadvantage, you want to tape it just because you know what I'm trying to do and what we're trying to do as a team. And that's fine. Like, you played it right back in our face. That's fine. You slow the game down. I get it. But it's not my job to tell you whether you're in or not. It's not. Sorry.
So I appreciate that. You know what I appreciate about you, Taylor, is that you treat almost everybody the same. So if you're playing against Lee Chrisman or Sarah Wicker, you're doing the same thing if you're playing against insert, Michael Chaldon or myself or any, Nick Pete Russo, whoever. You're pretty much consistent. There's a few guys, though, I notice sometimes you do tell them what's going on. It probably some like childhood friends or something. But I do notice sometimes you have a little bit of a nice streak in you. You don't like to show it very often, but sometimes you'll go in there and tell them what's going on. Do you ever do that on purpose?
Like change it up and be nice on purpose?
Yeah. Say nice shot.
No, I don't do the whole Cap thing. I know that bothers people sometimes when Cap goes and says, "Oh, nice shot," and you guys are like, "What?" No, I don't. I guess it just depends on the mood I'm in, if we're beating your ass or not. I mean, for the most part, I respect the game. I respect the opponent. And I even said it, when we were playing at St. Anthony's, I went up to Triv and Frank and Stu. I'm like, I forget who we were playing. It's like second or third game. I'm like, listen, stay focused. We can lose. These teams these guys can beat anybody. I didn't know them very well, but I know they play there all the time. So if we don't focus and we don't roll and we don't hit, we're going to lose. So it's you have to keep that mindset. It's so hard to win. And when you try to win so much, if you lose focus at all, and you're gonna lose, dude. Listen, we lost our first game to a team we shouldn't have lost to. I can't even tell you who it is we played. I don't even remember. I'm trying to think about it. Oh, it was the team.
Abatista,
yes.
Mario.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we ended up beating them. We ended up beating them to go to Sunday, 13-2. But they beat us the first game. They got 2 4-bangers on us because we were effing around and screwing around and not playing well. And they took advantage of
10-0 in that game. 10-0. I mean, it was. Yeah.
They were destroying us. And listen, that's what happens. You sleep on a team, you're going to get your ass kicked. So I try to keep the same mentality. I'm there to win. It costs money. I don't like wasting my weekends. You know me. I'm not a mingler. So when I lose, I'm gone. That's it. See ya. So, I'm there for one purpose, and that's it.
Yeah, I have to say that's something that I need to work on is to keep that focus all the time. It takes a lot out of you to do it. It's a one thing to focus every time that you're playing against, BSB, ABV, Adelio, CPF, insert plus EV now, whatever their name's going to be. Whenever you're playing against the teams that you have to do it, but to do it the whole tournament against every team, it could be a little bit exhausting. But I know that if I let my guard down, then I'm letting the team down because
Yeah, right. Let me ask you a question. Last year we had to play Jose's team, Pat, and them guys twice on Sunday in that high stakes tournament. We beat them twice. Okay. It was monumental for us. And we just started playing together. It was Jose. It was Pat, Anthony LaBarbera. I mean, the team was loaded. We beat them twice. The very next game, we had to play IMBS. Okay. And has IMBS beat us, I think, 14-2.
Yeah,
Are
let's
they
do it,
12
Red.
points better than us? Right? I mean, no, of course not. And I remember I played really, really well that game because I was still focused. I'm like, I'm going up against Sean New. What more motivation do I need? I've been trying to catch Sean New as rights for the best pointer in the game. I got to show out. I don't want. I'm not. This isn't a dig on Stewie or Dante or Cap. I don't remember how Cap played, but I know that the middle frames were a struggle for some of our guys, and I think it was more about focus. You guys just thought we beat Jose and Anthony LaBarbera, that we were just going to roll through IMBS. Like, no, and they shit stomped us because they're good. So,
I've talked about the game before, but my first win against Cap, who I kind of viewed as like a big milestone to beat him. Frank DeSillo, Joe Zazar, and Matt Estes, 4 players that I think are amazing. We beat them. I hit the game winner, and that next game I was locked in because my goal was to beat him. Make Sunday. If you will. Like I still had these like goals, team goals to get in, and it was like just really hard for our team to get focused that next game. It was like just a big emotional time. And like to go to the next one, it was just so difficult, man. Like to get locked in. I was, for whatever reason, I stayed locked in. But that also could be to my detriment sometimes because when I lock in, I'm like just laser focused. The whole outside world I don't think about, and I'm just completely into whatever's there. It's a good or bad quality depending on how you want to look at it. It can be very good from Bocce perspective, but sometimes I could just get so narrowed in that I don't care who I annoy with my measurements because I know it's working, or I don't care who I annoy with my chirping because I know it's working, and I just will keep going. And again, it could be good or bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, if that's the worst thing that people say about me is that I'm not really like the most vocal when it comes to who's in and who's not. I mean, whatever. That's fine.
So I'm really excited to see you versus Sean because we know Judge Durkin's number 1 at Lorenzino's, and so hopefully this is going to tell us who's number 2. As far as lead pointer there.
I mean, this is unbelievable. This is just great bulletin board material. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm a psycho, so if I have some time tomorrow, I'm going to go down to Lorenzino's and roll about 300 balls. No chances that can. I'm not letting nobody undress me tomorrow, Saturday. Nope. Not happening.
All right, so we're heading up on 9:30. Just want to appreciate everybody for listening in. Next week we're going to try to get out some topics in advance. We're going to talk next week about the results from, of course, Troy. I'm very excited to see how this triples tournament goes from Michael out there. We'll be going over results from Lorenzino's, and then we'll be doing some previews. I got some of the Mount Carmel guys from Lowville calling in, including our buddy Giuliano is going to call in as we had a tournament out there. Of course, all these tournaments over and over and over again. So we're going to be talking about what's going on in Lowville for that tournament, 2 on each side. And just want to appreciate you having back, Matt. It means a lot. I'm just excited to be doing this again. We both love this from the minute we started doing our podcast, and it's good to have you back, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. See you Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thanks, everybody. Remember, respect the line.